What's up, guys? ZFarls here tonight with a special episode of This Week in Madden Show 177. We'll be looking at the top mistakes bad players make. That's the theme of tonight's show. I think it's going to help you out a ton. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips. What's up, gamers? ZFarls here, and welcome to another exciting edition of This Week in Madden Show 177. We're kicking it live from the Madden, the original spot of This Week in Madden. We taped our first show 6-7 years ago in the pitch black in the basement. Didn't even have the tech to stream it at the time, but that was where it started, and we're back where it began tonight for a special show. 3 games of Draft Champions coming up tonight. Goldilocks, a little short, a little long, and one game that's just right. So we've got that happening. We've also got 2 sample drafts plus a Bears offensive scheme. So we're going to go into the Bears playbook tonight, look at a formation that we might have overlooked slightly. It's going to be similar to some other things we've done, but there's a couple twists that I think you guys will like. We're also going to go back in the time machine and look in the Bears playbook for 2 of our favorite formations from past games of Madden and see, do they still work or do they not work anymore? And if they don't, why don't they work? And what can we take from them not working and see how the game has evolved and changed? So that's going to be an interesting test tonight. We will quickly take a look at some Muthead action coming up, but don't forget, if you're a subscriber to the Brain Trust, we've got quarterback sneak defense from Zan. We've also got M-Stack coming in with a new pass protection bonus video for his Titan scheme. So you've got all of M-Stack's Titan stuff all wrapped up. You guys, you're ready to go finally use that in there. And then Zan from Forward Progress Madden, who you definitely want to follow, hooked us up with a little QB sneak defense for those crunch time situations. So sit back, enjoy This Week in Madden. This is freshly taped. We'll get back, I think January 6th is the first Wednesday after the new year. I believe January 4th is Monday. So we will be back with S. Gibbs. We'll get RG back in the mix. We'll be live like we are normally after this great holiday season. So stay tuned for that. But tonight's TWIM is coming in hot. All right, let's jump in. All right, so just in case you don't follow youtube.com/ZFarls or you missed out on the Team of the Week 16, this Matthew Stafford is quite possibly one of the best quarterbacks in the game. If we compare him to Tom Brady, he is much, much faster. I believe it's like 61 versus 79 speed. Stafford with mid-80s acceleration, going to feel pretty fast. Throw power is the same. Short and medium, I think, go to Brady by like 2. And then deep accuracy goes to Stafford by 1 point. So you look at this Stafford, you don't get the play action, but Tom Brady was going for about 900,000 coins. Matthew Stafford going for only 200,000 when he first came out. Guys, this Stafford, if you don't really want a true mobile quarterback, this is your guy. Plus, he also has decent speed. So he's not like a pure pocket passer either, but he's just not built to run. But he'll get you out of some trouble every now and then with that 79 speed. But tremendous throw power, 99. Great play action, good deep accuracy. I love this Stafford. Think you guys should check him out. This is my TWIM recommendation for him. We talked about the Calais Campbell does not get a recommendation. D'Angelo Hall does not get a recommendation for the price, although he's not terrible. Ayers does get a bit of a recommendation for budget. And lastly, Heaney gets a bit of a recommendation for budget, but nobody else really gets that recommendation. And that is my Team of the Week review here on This Week in Madden 177. Let's jump into the Chicago Bears offensive scheme and see what formations we like in that playbook. All right, so we kicked it on over to the Bears playbook here. We're in the gun doubles weak formation. And we're going to look at the play slot post. That's what's caught our attention for the moment. And what we like about this play is obviously Eddie Lacy's route. We like the quick out, and then you could always drag the tight end. And hopefully triangle's going to get you good depth here as we're patient. The flat zone on the right, Church, finally drops down, and we hit it over the top for a big gain. I'm sure we could get a better route combo with maybe a flat route to Rodgers to make sure that flat could drop down even earlier. But what I like about this is you can motion this corner route. Then you create the flood concept on the right by flatting the tight end. And now look at that. So you can hit that route in multiple windows, which you can also do with the gun split close. So that's what reminds me of that. Of course, this formation wouldn't be very good if it didn't have an inside zone. So here we motion Lacey across to the right. We keep him on that little route, and it's kind of unique. We're hoping that the other routes will push the zones back, and the Lacey route can become a reliable third down and short option where the zones drift away, and Lacey's route is unique enough where you can hit it for a nice gain. The quick audibles, like we said, they're not great from this, but they do have the inside zone, and that's really all that matters. You can take it up the middle, you can take it off the left edge, and you can take it off the right edge. Those are very, very important. The key, though, if you want to take it off the left edge, notice where we snap Cobb. If you snap Cobb, right there, you want him in the middle. If you snap him on the left side of the screen, sometimes he becomes responsible for the left end, who is Hardy, and he's going to block shed and crush it. So if you want to cut it back off the left edge, do not snap Cobb there. That's my one disclaimer for this scheme. But if you don't do that, you should have that left edge that you saw right there. And that makes a big difference. If you can't run the ball to the left, outside right, and up the middle, then you don't have a run that is an every down run, and you don't have a scheme that is a good scheme. That's just the truth. The right side is very, very nice because the tight end's often going to give you a double team. You obviously want a tight end that's strong and MUT. BCA Vance McDonald for super cheap, Lee Smith for super cheap, Ben Hartsock for super cheap, Hines Ward getting more expensive. But, that is the real key for this gun doubles weak formation. We run gun doubles, we run the Colts with the 3 receivers, but the gun doubles weak is very, very good also. And I know everyone's probably like, this isn't that much different, but the way it aligns with where the halfback is and then where the tight end is, it makes it pretty nice. And then you don't have to deal with a second receiver on the right side of the screen not blocking or holding their block. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, this formation looks like it's going to be awesome. You saw we hit triangle right there. That's a unique route if they go to man-to-man. So I believe the first was against zone cover 3. This is against man-to-man. So Cobb's going to beat man. The Shakes route, the C routes on the outside are going to beat man. Usually the halfback, if he's a better receiver than Lacey, speed-wise, will get a little more separation depending on where the defensive back is lined up. Here we wanted this to work. I thought this could be cool. This is not a good read, though, against man. If you motion it to the right side, you need more space on the field. I like this drag. This is a concept I believe Serious Mo uses, and I've used it a bit myself. It's not this exact concept. Generally, that works. Obviously, the drag didn't get the separation there, and the playmaker didn't, but usually that's going to be a winning formula for you. Here, we got Cobb going out to the right, and we're looking to go back across, but you can always roll out against 2-man under. So against 2-man under, guys, that is a big, crucial piece to any offense, really, is the ability to roll out, playmaker, and pick up yards with the quarterback. Right there, you see that corner route, those C routes, devastating man-to-man coverage. You want to, if that's flashback Jordy or Keenan Allen, any of those guys with above 96 or higher route running, they're going to win. Right there, you saw Lacey get open, but then he kind of slowed down, but obviously if you had more speed, that route where you motion to the right, I think between motion in the left slot, motion in Lacey, all out, you should be able to confuse the defense there. Here, this creates some separation for triangle to get open. As we continue to look at this formation here, you see, an inside zone where we motion the tight end to the left if you wanted to cut it back more towards the left. You got to use motion in this formation to throw off your opponents. That's the one thing I've noticed about gun doubles. Without motion, it's not quite the best. But I've noticed motion giving people lots of headaches. Bears Y corner is a tight end corner route, which I'm not going to teach you how to run at this point in the season. You should know how to throw a tight end corner. Shakes is there for you. It has the same route as the initial play we showed to Lacey, the same flat route. You've got the inside zone. you have that slot post was the initial play, if you're wondering. This play has a stock out route on the right side of the screen, and I actually like it. Because out routes, you can't always get the depth you want. If you have a stock out route, it's actually pretty nice piece to an offense, because you can always kind of get 10 yards if they don't have a second defender over there. So you got to make them pay. You can drag Rodgers, and then you could have the halfback and him like kind of cross. That was a hitch, smart routed hitch to the inside left. So you put the guy on a hitch where a triangle is, and then you smart route it, you get your 10 yards. That beats man-to-man. That's a great concept that Gibbs had shown that he said people had been running against him. So check old TWIMs if you need to know more about that. But basically, hitch route, smart routed to beat man is cash money records. Here you see that same motion that we've been using, but you don't want to have dual outs. You would probably want to put them on a drag. There you see quick pass across the middle. Going back to the shakes play, we want to try it against zone coverage, cover 3, and that's just not really a route you want either. It looks like it's going to be cool. We back up the ball, we move it to the left side of the screen, but I think you're better off leaving that shakes route. We even tried smart routing it, which actually I believe worked, but it's not quite there. Here we streak Lacey. We try and back off the zone coverage. We talked about it earlier to get the routes underneath. So the slant hopefully gets underneath zone. Continuing on in this Bears playbook, gun 5 wide receiver trio. This is a formation we loved back in the day. I think Seattle playbook used to have it too. And I wanted to use this when I got 5 really good receivers, because usually if you go to a 5 wide set, like one guy's a tight end, one guy's a halfback, and then you have 3 receivers, but this actually uses all 5 receivers. And I felt like I had 5 receivers who were awesome. So you've got a high route running guy where a triangle is, you've got a big-bodied receiver where X is, and then you've got your 3 one-on-one catch guys going on streaks. You could also drag R1 to give you more of a window. But this 5 wide receiver trio formation is simply not good anymore. So if we go back and we look at why it was successful in earlier Maddens, we'll talk about the play mesh, but as much as I want this to be awesome, it's not there. There's no QB draw as a quick audible, which hurts. Deep accuracy is not that great. As you see, sometimes you just overthrow deep, so these one-on-one routes that are on the outside, they're not that consistent, I guess. The X route's still good. The triangle zig route is still good. But, people will be smart and they'll be able to user it, so you got to be careful if you go to this as part of your offense. You're not going to be able to pass protect. You're going to need a mobile quarterback if you wanted to run this scheme. And although I want this to still kind of be how it was, it's just not the case. I think in Draft Champions, this could be a successful scheme. And even in MUT, I thought it would be cool because I had those 5 wide receivers. You get Wes Welker, finally use some of that route running on that inside left route. But it's just not a deep enough formation. As we look at the rest of the plays, you see the QB draw, but you can't get to it. You got to play mesh, and you got to play Y shallow cross. So the play mesh, what I don't like about it, unfortunately, is the auto motion and the way the receivers on the left are aligned. See the 2 receivers, triangle and square, next to each other? That ends up being bad for business. Here, square gets open on the drag. I mean, it's still good, but it's not great. This might be a scheme that works against the computer in, say, MUT, like, head-to-head seasons game, or not head-to-head seasons, but like solo challenges. But the question becomes, if somebody takes away those 2 drags, and even with something like a QB spy, and they use the new contained QB spy tactic, are you going to have enough other plays and ammo to beat them? When they call dime man press, and they press that corner route, and you got to scramble with Aaron Rodgers. Scramble with Aaron Rodgers is the last, or even with Marcus Mariota. Like, that's good in a pinch, but there's so many tools to slow down the mobile quarterback this year that it can't be what you rely on to beat 2-man under. I find myself sometimes going for it. I try and pick up speed and get up the middle of the field. And there you see the nice rack catch and pass lead. The rack catch and pass lead does make drags more effective for sure. Another reason this 5 wide receiver trio doesn't work as good as it did is you see when we audible to a play like strong flood, which it's not a corner route, it's a deep out, which is going to take really long. Triangle and square on the left, we talked about their alignment. They're going to give a dead giveaway that it's no longer mesh or shallow cross the other plays. So now it goes back to, potential like 5 wide receiver. The verticals play, the quick audible, that's a run, is the jet sweep. And look at this jet sweep. Inside zone is so powerful because it aims at the center and allows you to take it off the edge. This run, you only can go really off the edge. And with the way the defensive ends block shed, if they're aligned wide, like right now, there's no point for a defense. We try to take it back to the middle right there. Like, there's no point for a defensive lineman to not be spread and playing in a wide 9 position. So that's really going to hurt Triangle when he tries to break it to the edge. You'll see it again. Like, he should almost always be playing on the outside. You might think, well, you got that PA play built off of that fake. That could be a nice little wrinkle. But what happens is I'm not pressing anything with the left stick. And watch Aaron Rodgers' feet in the pocket. So I'm not pushing anything. See how I took 2 steps up into the pocket? I was able to scramble here, actually, which was cool. But there's some play-action fakes in the game this year that caused the quarterback to go into, a weird drop step. And this play-action play seems to be one. So that's why I don't think it can be good, even though you have the run built in off of it. That could, stress some opponents who, they don't know how to stop the end around, and now it's PA and you got them fooled because they ran commit. You're going to be in bad position with Rodgers, and your feet are going to be moving. So, like I said, 2-man under has been popular. Look at the corner route if you throw it when it gets pressed. It's just not something you can rely on, and it makes it a stinker because I love this formation. And like I said, it still has some value, but it's nothing you can rely on anymore. So that's my breakdown of the Bears playbook. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And let's take a look at some MUT sleepers real quick. All right, quick card recommendation for a budget item. Now, this Zadarius Smith dual style is the guy. We sent this out to Brain Trust people the night before Christmas. 93 strength, 95 block shed, 93 power move, 93 excel, 6'4". I mean, this is the guy. If you need a left end and you can't afford J.J. Watt, you can't afford some of the other studs in the game, maybe Team of the Week Wilkerson, or Football Outsiders Jarrell Casey. Those are guys that we kind of think have the full package of strength and block shed, and then power move and excel. This guy's faster than those guys. This is a stud item, and unless you really have Mean Joe Green and J.J. Watt and all those, really the best of the best, this guy should play in your lineup. So don't sleep on Zadarius Smith. We've talked about him. I know his name is out there, but I've put him out on Twitter, but I want to make sure the TWIM community, the guys in the chat on Twitch, and of course YouTubers that watch it the next day on the youtube.com/ZFarls know about this item and pick one up for their squad while it's still available. All right, time to kick off our first game of Draft Champions here on This Week in Madden Show 177, freshly recorded for you. ZFarls in the house, and I'm the Giants. I start out on the defensive side of the ball. I got the big dime 146, and this is actually pretty good for me because I did get 4 corners. I also got a strong safety to user. Woodyard's in the middle as my CPU linebacker who's manned up, and I have Colby Fleener, strong safety, and Rod Woodson, legend, free safety. So I feel like I have a great secondary. I got Jimmy Smith, Freeze Norman, Xavier Rhodes, and my last guy, I believe, is, we'll see him in this game. I want to say it's Johnson, but I'm not sure. But I have 4 really good guys across the board at CB, plus 2 safeties. So the big dime 146 is perfect. I got Chandler Jones off the edge. And this guy apparently doesn't care that Freeze Norman is out there because Mike Evans just picks up a 20-yard gain. And I'm starting to... That's my first question on Freeze Norman. So Mike Evans right there comes up with a big catch, and this guy starts moving the ball on his opening drive. Tom Brady, with the play action, goes down the field one more time to Mike Evans, and he just gets filthy right on top of Josh Norman and doesn't even get tackled by Norman. We got to get help from the rest of our defense. So second question for Freeze Norman. That's 2 verbal warnings on the open and drive. Here we get Rod Woodson. We try and run him down into the play, but he takes it up the middle. He goes with the hurry-up offense on 2nd and 5. Tom Brady in the pistol. We get clicked onto Foster. We could see that route coming. Rod Woodson, we got him into a hook zone on the play. And that's one of the biggest things about draft champions I saw was you got to sometimes get your safeties out of deep blues into hooks. Here on 3rd and 5, we get Fleener down in the box. We can see the route developments coming, and Josh Norman gets beat a 3rd time by Mike Evans on a corner route. Must be maybe the release rating against Norman's press. I'm not sure what's happening, but Mike Evans is beasting. We don't know what Evans this guy has. Unfortunately, we do know he has Brady. We do know he has, I think, Heath Miller. Or maybe it's Zach Miller. But he tries to hand it off on that down. He's got Frank Gore, who there's really no good versions of Frank Gore. So we feel good that he's not going to be able to run the ball too much. And we expect him to throw short here. We've got our safety in a hook, and he goes with the run, and he comes up and makes the play. So he's got it down to the 2-yard line. He goes hurry up. We're going to blitz every single player on our team right now. We're going to press square, right stick down to quickly get into an all-out blitz. We're going to run all the safeties down. We're going to try and get in off the backfield. And we just can't do it. So, I mean, we knew that was happening. I guess we did everything short of run commit in that situation. Maybe we could have ran commit. But, as you see, we did get DB Sting in. We're okay giving up rushes because we're going to play the big dime. We're okay if he runs and he runs for 5 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards. Frank Gore, don't care. I'll eventually slow him down. It was the passes on that drive that really ground my gears. Now, as I'm home for the holidays, this is one of the first games where my dad actually watched me play, and I think he knows I'm, pretty good. My record is, 225, I would say. But going down 7-0, he's like, "Oh man, are you gonna lose? Like, what's up?" He was basically like somebody in the chat right now. Like, I thought this guy was good. What's up with that? But that's what happens when you play draft champions and Madden. Like, dudes are gonna score, and you might play a guy who you know is not good, and it might just be a struggle to beat him. It might take some time. You might play somebody who's actually really good, and you blow them out because of fumbles or something like that. So that pass right there from Teddy Bridgewater did not help, though. That's a first down. I'm in the Arizona Cardinals offense. I come out in the gun split close. I'm running halfback wheel, and Teddy Bridgewater sails one to the corner. Here we check down to the flat, and we're going to have to use that to our advantage. We pick up 15 yards to Greg Olsen. This guy's an under smoke, so this guy's not doing the right things to be a good Madden player. This had me thinking a lot about it because I think on PS4 I hadn't played a ton. And here, this is what Arizona has that I used last year. I used to play close fullback trail. We talked about it a little bit earlier with the Bears scheme. Like, why was a formation like 5 wide receiver trio that used to be good not good anymore? Why was a play like fullback trail that was so good last year not good this year? Those are the questions. And this guy's not hitting flat routes. This guy's not hitting. He's not running inside zone. He's not doing anything. That's a Gibbsism a little bit. Like, when I say this guy's not doing anything, like he's not really. He's just calling random defenses, and he had an overthrow right there. Things were covered. We didn't force it, but then we kind of ran out of time. And that was a bad job by us. Getting rid of the ball, though, was good there on 2nd and 10. So, to make it a 2nd and 10, a lot of the games we played today with this Cardinals offense, we unfortunately took too many sacks once our initial read wasn't open. So right here, we go back to fullback trail, and that's tough. We fumble after taking the sack, and we just didn't get rid of it in time. He called what I would call not a real blitz per se, but I like that he's trying to mix it up. Now we're down 7-0. My whole family's now in the room. They're looking at me like, "We thought you were a good Madden player." And I'm just like, "I am. This guy's not good. Trust me. I will stop this guy. I will stop this guy. This guy hit lucky catches." But that's not the way it looks right now. Even though we're slowing down LaShawn McCoy, 3 rushes for 4 yards, we still need to get a play. We've got Colby Fleener, out of position, strong safety, so we're trying to use him, intimidate him in the box. We've got Mason Foster, I believe, at the middle linebacker. On the left, we're hoping he can stop the run, and this guy's going to take it to the quarter. So he's kind of draining the clock. That frustrated me, because Draft Champs games, they're not necessarily shorter, but because you don't have the talent, I guess, you feel like the game's more equal across the board, and you're at the mercy of your playbooks, and you're at mercy at the players you can actually draft. Sometimes it's to your benefit, sometimes it's to your detriment. Here he tries to run it with McCoy and picks up a nice gain on 2nd and 10. So 3rd and 1, we call our play quickly, and we're just kind of impatient. We're just thinking like, all right, this guy's not good. We can call whatever play we want. We'll make adjustments. But that's also bad habits by me. Like, I should have waited and seen that he had called, this I form here and know that it's a fullback dive. We ran commit, so we ended up getting a stop right there. But, like right here, I'm 100% sure he's not going to run that play again, but I know I put both my guys in hook, so both my safeties were in hook zones across the middle. He runs slants on 4th and 3 from the hurry up. That's just such poor play calling, because there's only so many things he could actually do from that formation. And as a good players will know what you're going to do. That's why we had the hooks there. They didn't get down and make the play in time, but still, it's just not going to be a good long-term strategy. Right there, we get the sack from Foster. He gets through. The problem is, if we're not using Foster, then he's rushing, and then he's kind of useless. But I want to use our Fleener. That's why I drafted him. So, I don't know. Right there, he threw that. That drove me bananas, because we had a hook zone from Woodson, who was supposed to be our legend, and then we used the short part of it, and he threw it anyway. So now it's almost a 2-minute warning. We're down 7. Our family's watching. We're losing, and to top it all off, the guy's not even good. And we're saying that, but we probably sound crazy. And LaShawn McCoy takes it up the middle and runs it against my defense for a touchdown. And like I said earlier, I'm not mad about the run game. I understand I will give up yards when I come out in that defense. I'm okay with it. I live with it. It doesn't bother me. Unfortunately, though, it hurt me right there, and I got to be better. 2 minutes left in the game. We get to kick off. Eddie Royal, special teams. I thought we were going all the way. We get tackled, though, by Lemur on the edge, and that hurts us. Now, we're in the Cardinals playbook still, so we got to come up with an offense, and we got to do it quick. We go to the gun doubles, but they don't have. So their spot play doesn't have the halfback table route that we like, and the one that does have the halfback table route doesn't have a corner route. So aside from inside zone, there's not a ton to like in their gun doubles because you're missing the pass to go along with it. But LaShawn McCoy, boom, tries to keep us going, and he picks up a decent gain on 1st down. Guys, if you're watching on Twitch right now, do me a favor and give the channel a follow. Press that little heart button in the bottom left-hand corner. Really appreciate it. All right, we're back in the gun ace twins offset. This is the formation we showed last week from Carolina. Most people at the Madden Challenge liked this formation if it was one that they had in their playbook. You see we're going to try and hit the corner right here. But we're backing off with Bridgewater. We go downfield, one-on-one aggressive catch. Tavon Austin comes up big for us. I thought we had the speed advantage for a rack catch touchdown, but it ended up having to be halfback out of position Tavon Austin going up for a one-on-one catch. And, I was thinking just score, we get ball at half. But now I'm thinking let's score and get a pick. And we try the fullback dive right there. We don't get in. On offense, we have Teddy Bridgewater, we have Tavon Austin, LaShawn McCoy. I put McCoy at halfback and put Tavon Austin at receiver, even though he's out of position. We then had Martavis Bryant, but not the good one. Not even a team of the week, either one. We also had Eddie Royal. So that's the three receivers we're running are Austin, Royal, and Bryant. Here we go to I-Form Pro Twins. And on 3rd and goal, we're trying to come up with something. We're going to sub in LaShawn McCoy at fullback and try and get a fullback dive for the touchdown. He took a timeout, so there's still 1:19 left, but I promise you that we don't get in with McCoy, and now it's 4th and goal. Do we take the points and just make it a game, or do we just say, you know what, we're at the inch line, we drove it all the way down, you're not good, we need to get a score, you can't stop my QB sneak. You know, you play a good player, you know they have some type of QB sneak D that's maybe 25% chance. Like the stuff Zan sent that's in the Facebook group, is it 100% QB sneak D? No, but does it, instead of give you a 1% chance of stopping it, give you like maybe a 25% chance? Yes, that's what I would say good QB sneak D is. Like good QB sneak D gives you a shot, and I didn't think that guy had it. This is where it's 14-7. I feel some relief, and I turn and say, there's a 100% chance this guy throws a pick on this drive. There is a 100% chance this guy throws a pick on this drive. He's had some nice catches with Mike Evans, but I didn't draft Freeze Norman. One mistake I make here, too, is I should sub Chandler Jones in at right end, on the right side of the screen. I guess he's technically at right end, but he should be playing on the right side of the screen, not the left side of the screen, because I don't want him on a QB spy. I want him rushing, and I should let Rivers spy. So I have that flipped, and that's something I want to fix later. Here, he throws, and what happens? Fleener comes up, 6'6", strong safety, makes the pick, and my dad's like, you knew that, and I was like, yes, because you can't keep just chucking the ball and expect success. Yes, it's worked for him so far, but I know the adjustments I'm making are good adjustments, and that's what is frustrating. But now it's 14-7, and we get ball, and now we know we're going to score. Teddy Bridgewater, patient, we throw to X, and we go with the possession catch, get out of bounds, and now it's looking like we're pretty good. We're in field goal range with 43 seconds left. And one thing we didn't run, really, with this Arizona playbook is the full back inside. It's a good run. Here we go to Greg Olsen in the flat. We're really trying to stress the flat if we can. The fullback inside is a run from this formation that the Browns playbook does not have. The Steelers might not have it either. I know the Cardinals have it. There's a couple of these gun split close that have it. But the Pats and Browns are not one of them. So they only have that main off-tackle run, which is not a very good run. So 2nd and 1, we scramble with Teddy Bridgewater. We slide down inside the 4-yard line. We let the clock tick down. We don't want to score with much time left, as little as possible. Right now, my dad's wondering, why are you not taking a timeout? I'm like, I got this. Like, this is fine. There's plenty of time. Like I said, this is not a great run, but we had a pretty good front lined up against it. We get down to the inch line. I'm still not taking a timeout. I'm going to go to goal line QB sneak. I might take a timeout with 6 seconds left. You know, that was the one thing I was thinking. I knew we could probably get in again. I was thinking of taking a timeout with either just after that. If I snapped it there, I got 4 seconds. That's 2 more QB sneaks. This guy ended up taking a timeout, and what I said was, because I hurried up, because there was like a sense of like urgency, he wasn't going to have QB sneak D. When he took the timeout, when he came back out, he probably raised his chance of stopping it from like 5% to like 20%, but I still scored 4 seconds, so I would have had 2 more shots at it with 3 timeouts. So that's just clock management 101. Like, I was comfortable, confident, knew what was happening. A casual observer might be like, why are you not taking a timeout? Why are you not taking a timeout? But when you're that close, like, you know what you're doing, and when you're that close to the end zone, you know it doesn't take that long, and you don't want to leave him really with any time at all. So I felt good about that situation. Now it's 14-14, and all of a sudden this guy who I said was not good, and I mean that in like he's not playing, he's not running great schemes. He had a good opening drive. Like, I knew I could get a stop, and now I'm back in the game. So with 1 second left, we're going to go to quarters, and we're going to run 3 deep and man up 3 deep because we would hate to get beat deep by a Hail Mary. We're going to back up with our back, take a quick look for like a screen or something, but you know, we feel pretty confident we are going to be able to get a stop anytime we go to that man up 3 deep at the end of the half or the game and just get everybody back right there. Works in our favor, and now it's tied up 14-14 at the half. He's going to kick off to us, and we're going to go return middle. You always want to go return middle, in my opinion. You always want to click on to the guy in front of your returner, swing him out wide to either side, and then look to head out there, try and hit a quick juke, and crush it with Eddie Royal. And all of a sudden, we get the ball well past midfield, down to the 25-yard line. Eddie Royal having a big return day for us, 14-14. After being down 14-0, we're feeling good. We're going to go to the gun trips halfback weak formation. And this close zone across is a play we haven't ran before, but, I mean, look at the crossers. Look at, you know, where Austin is aligned. We know if we're patient with this, we'll be able to find somebody. We end up having to check down to the flat, but McCoy does a good job of picking up a nice game. Bridgewater, 7 for 9. He started out with that one really ugly pass, but it's going pretty well. Gun flip trips is a formation we used to like. We decide not to go to it in that situation. Here's gun halfback strong. And boom, McCoy goes up the gut. I mean, it's not an inside zone, so it's not foolproof, especially if he's going to go with something like DB blitz. We actually did run inside zone right there, but the DB blitz got in against it. I thought we were running off tackle there. We go back to inside zone, and we get up the middle. Look at that left stick cut with McCoy, and then look at that juke. I mean, that is always going to be good no matter what playbook you're in. That's what makes inside zone so tough. We had that initial left stick cut where we could go back up the middle, and then we had that right stick juke at the safety level, and that's what fakes out guys. And I think that's a big piece of the juke move rating, how much it actually is going to fake out tacklers. Pretty big right there. That's what Barry Sanders does better than anybody else. We get a big hit stick on the kickoff, and it's 21-14. And we're going back into chill mode. We think this guy's going to be in Chuck mode, where he's just going to want to throw. So what we're going to do is just sit back, try and get an interception. We don't care if he runs it. We know he doesn't really have like great. He's not passing to open receivers. Like, he's not throwing dots. So I don't care if he wants to throw. There he goes with the screen pass. And that's actually a nicely timed screen with 3 guys to the right. I was pretty worried about Evans. So for him to mix in a screen right there was good play calling. So I got to tip my cap. 2nd and 7. He's going to come out with 3 receivers to the right. We set up inside zone defense just in case. It's a good habit to get into, especially if we want to use our safety anyways. And that handoff that he called, that's another like sign that that's not a great player, because those handoffs, they invite those bad snaps. Here he's going to try and run play action off of it, and we're going to have all his receivers covered. Mike Evans on the right side of the screen. We're looking for routes back to the middle, but a one-handed catch, spectacular play right there. Burns us, and he moves the chain. So Evans with 5 for 92, all in coverage. But earlier, you know, that's like, you don't want to run halfback draws. You don't want to run. Yes, there is a time and a place for them. But you should be in formations that don't have those. Here we get clicked on the wrong way. It's a screen pass too, and now we're like, oh man, we got to run down there and try and make a tackle. But we click down on the left stick, and we got the camera flipped around. So that was not our best moment on defense. Colby Fleener right there. He goes to the pistol formation. We try and get down in the face. And we really started to get aggressive with our user and do the Mo. Mo likes to keep his guys like inside the offensive line, because you can always jump up with a 6'6" guy and look to make a play. Here you see we have all hooks, and I mean, that was actually one of his better throws. He had the nice corner to the left, and then Sudfeld got open with a crosser. So this play that he's running, the PAFL stretch, you see those crossers. Now that's like a route of a player who, all right, he might be in a new playbook, but he knows that crossing route is always going to be decent. And he goes for 2, so now we know, all right, it's going to be one of these guys. He goes for the 2-point conversion. He's in 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. That makes me want to think, all right, don't call dime if you can help it, because it's probably going to be like a fullback dive or like a quick throw across the middle. We're going to shade our coverage underneath. We're going to get all of our deep zones out of the way. We're going to go with hooks. And we ran commit, and he called slants, and that's good. That's fine. Like, that's not ideal, I guess. That's not like a real thing I would expect him to call, so maybe that's why it worked. But also a slant's just like the most simple thing you could do against a run commit, and that worked out for him. So he goes up by 1, 22-21. Eddie Royal brings it back over the 20-yard line, but can't really break it, and we're going to go back to the halfback wheel. This is one of the reasons we picked Arizona, because we knew it did have halfback wheel. I knew it had gun doubles, but ultimately it's not the best type of gun doubles. And even though he kind of uses that route to Royal, we have the ability with pass lead and kind of a touch throw, a little finesse on it, to get it over his defenders. And Royal picks up a large chunk. And even though we're down a point, this is a big drive for us. We feel like our offense is pretty good, and that's just a great pass lead right there. And Ross, who is subbed in, takes it to the house. So we go 2 plays to get the lead back. It's 27-22. Now we're going to go for 2 to create a 7-point game, and we're going to go with the fullback dive. We don't think this guy has fullback dive defense, and when we snap it, we're going to see that he does not, as Shady McCoy runs it right up the gut. I think we drafted Kelsey in the middle, so he got good push for us right there. Now it's 29-22, and after being down 14, we just let up that 1 score, and we've been scoring ever since. So he does get a pretty decent return back to the 30, and now we feel like it's time to get a pick. The first, we've had a pick, then a drive, then a pick, then a drive. So it's kind of every other drive we're getting a pick. One thing I could have done here was pause the game and see who between Red Bryant, Carl Klug, and somebody else, Glenn Dorsey, has the best pass rush move, but I didn't do that. I did not know off the top of my head. Here, we use her. He does a good job passing on the cut out to the right, and he made a couple better reads. He's 11-14 with Brady, 11 of 14. He's probably only had 4 wide open passes so far, so we're just waiting. This is 4 verticals. We get back. He goes deep down the sideline to Norman, or against Norman, I believe that was, but can't complete the pass. He's not throwing to Evans in that situation. Now on 2nd and 10, my spider senses are tingling. I want to get my safeties in hooks. I want to get down with our Woodson, screen, get underneath, pick. We played the pick rather than waiting to go for the tackle. We got super aggressive. If you miss that pick, that's a potential touchdown. We went for it, though, rather than waiting, just because out of sheer frustration. He had called that screen 3 times. That was the 3rd time. It was the charm for us. We got on Rod Woodson. Go back, watch that play, and you'll see an amazing read of the football. It gets us the quit. In slow motion, you'll see we slide our guy over for defense, for the inside zone. We then click on Rod Woodson at the snap of the ball. Look at the lineman go. Screen. Look at me already running down. And right here, you can get in the lineman and just kind of stand where Woodson is right now. But instead, we actually try and get underneath. We beat him to the ball. We hold the triangle, and we get the pick. We wanted the pick 6, but our direction kind of got goofed up when we turned around. But if you watch that, you'll see great user. It was a tendency thing. It was just an aggressive play. And like I said, it was hit or miss because it was probably a touchdown if we don't get that. So it ends up paying off. One other item I want to point out real quick is this Football Outsiders Perfect. This Perfect has 91 strength with 92 block shed, 97 hip power. This guy also has 88 zone coverage, I want to say. 80 zone coverage for this guy is perfect. Like, this is an edge setting item that I think in the nickel 3-3-5 odd, which is one of the defenses we use in the Brain Trust, there's a linebacker that's on the left side of the screen. He needs to be strong to stop the run and play zone coverage. We use Joey Porter, but he's not the best in zone. We use Levante David, but he's not good against the run. We use Lawrence Taylor, but he's more of a pass rusher, and that guy's not really rushing. This Burfict kind of fits the exact role we would want for that position. So I think if you're running the 3-3-5 odd from the Patriots defensive playbook, which it's a defense you should be running, especially at this point in the year where zone coverage is becoming a lot less expensive and man's being toned down a little bit, I think this Burfict could be your guy. Don't sleep on him. I really like what he brings to the table. Match him up against most legends out there. For the role, this is quite the player. Fun time, head-to-head draft. So we've got a new team we can select here, and let's take a look at our coaches. We've got Giants, Chiefs, New England. I would say New England best in the game. Chiefs, top 5. So it's between those two, obviously going to go New England. Now we have Jimmy Garoppolo and Christian Michael as our silvers, and those guys are really, really good. We want to get good linebackers, so we're going to take this road to the playoffs player. He seems like he's going to be solid off the edge. Here we get another middle linebacker. We get Mike Neal, who's strong, good in the run game, and then we get Brockers, who's a good D tackle and strong in the run game. We do take Neal, and he's going to allow us to have that versatility, much like the Patriots have with Jamie Collins and Dante Hightower and Mayo. So they have a lot of linebackers, and that's what allows them to be successful. Here we go, Fletcher Cox. I did want Larry Fitz, but I wasn't all in on Larry Fitz. I didn't think we could take another linebacker, so we did go Fletcher Cox. Because I feel like you want some guys that can stop the run naturally. As much as I love Woodyard, and I do, Hayward has pretty high zone coverage. I think it's in the 90s, so we went there. I wanted to take Pat Pete. I think he's good in draft champs. I don't think he's very good in regular MUT with 88 spec 85. But we end up going Quentin Demps, who's new, and he's fast. He can play good free safety. We need really good zone coverage for this Patriots defensive nickel 3-3-5 scheme, so that's what I was thinking with those players. Giovanni Bernard is the perfect back, and we haven't had any offensive selections really, so I was glad to get Gio. Now, I would normally probably take Teddy Bridgewater, and I really do like Justin Houston too, but I just used Teddy Bridgewater in a couple games, and it's not the new Teddy Bridgewater, so I'll spare you guys another Teddy game. I did compare Teddy to Garoppolo just to kind of see if he even was an upgrade, and it is pretty clear that he is much better than Jimmy Garoppolo. When we compare it here, you're going to see much faster, better power, throw power, better accuracy in all across the board. So as much as people do like Garoppolo, it would be an upgrade. We go with Brandon Marshall, though, to get those one-on-one catches. Pepper's too slow. Bennett, I've already got a defensive lineman, and I do like Bennett, but I think I got to go with a left tackle just because if I go to gun doubles, I want a strong edge tackle, and Peters is going to give me that presence that I'm looking for. Now, in this one, I can't take another left tackle, although I could always just play him out of position. We go with the center, though, instead. And I need more CBs to fill out this defense. I do like Curtis Lofton and Hatcher. It's actually a pretty good draft champions round right there. But, they're not the best flashbacks, but I'd say it's better than Ted Ginn flashback. Vontae Davis is perfect. He's a little bit more of a man cover guy, but with Trey Waynes and Vontae Davis, I always could play some man from time to time, and that gives me 3 pretty good CBs, plus I've already got 1 safety, plus I like the user the strong safety, so I'm going to put Fleener there again and user him in the 3-3-5 odd with that size. We've already had Tavon Austin, but we're going to take him again. He's a halfback. What I like about that is now I have Gio and Tavon. One of them will go to receiver. And I considered taking Brady here, but I couldn't. I had to take Dez. Dez is that much better than Brady. And I prefer a mobile QB. So Vic Beasley, you know we love his silver item. We've already got a left tackle. So we go with Beasley. And in our legend round, we finally get the quarterback we're looking for. He's a big upgrade over Garoppolo, either of these guys. I felt like we couldn't take Curtis Martin because we already had two backs who are very serviceable. And we go with McNabb over Elway. It's got to be McNabb over Elway. Just because of the speed differential, I feel like it's a little bit of a bonus. What I did do here was move, I believe Brandon Marshall will end up being at tight end. The way the Patriots playbook sets up their formation, when you have like 5 skill players, it's generally 1 tight end, 2 halfbacks, and 2 receivers. So I think we're good. We're going to move either Bryant or Marshall. I think Marshall's a better run blocker than Dez, so he'll go to tight end. Then we'll move probably Austin to receiver, and then we'll move Christian Michael will end up playing a bit as like a third down back. So those are like our 5 skill guys, which actually is pretty nice. Defensively, we got our 2 CBs. We'll blitz Trey Waynes off the edge. We got 2 safeties for cover 3. We're going to use our Fleener, and we'll let Demps just be on his own. We got our couple linebackers who are pretty strong, and I think this is actually going to be a really, really good scheme. I'm looking forward to playing games on this channel with this team, guys, so make sure to hit that follow button in the bottom left-hand corner. That's right, please give this channel a follow if you're watching This Week in Madden right now, show 177. And if you're on YouTube right now watching this the next day, subscribe to the channel, and head over to Twitch and give it a heart so that you'll know when we go live. Try and show up. This is the greatest community, I believe, in the Madden community. There's a lot of good ones, but I really do love everyone that comes to watch the shows live and answers questions and talks and chats it up. It really makes for a great event. So for next Wednesday's show with S. Gibbs coming back and everything going on, come and try and watch it live if you can. I guarantee it will make your experience better if you're on YouTube. So this is the old team, but we kick off here. And this is another game against the 49ers. Different game, but we are going to go with that big dime. We're going to get Chandler Jones in on the right side of the field like we talked about. We know that's a smarter move for our defense. Keith Rivers will be the spy guy. We're going to keep, I think we're going to use our John Bostic this game instead of Mason Foster. We take Fleener out of the 4th CB position, put in Xavier Rhodes, and then move Fleener back. So just getting the big dime set up was something we wanted to do. Patrick Robinson is our 4th CB that we forgot about last game. So we get in the big dime. He's got to take a timeout. And we're in the Arizona Cardinals offense and Arizona Cardinals defensive playbooks. All right, let's see what we can do with this big dime, if our 2-man is going to hold up or if we'll have to get rid of it. First play of the game, we got QB Contain out there. He tries to scramble with McNabb, and the pressure comes in off the right edge. Chandler Jones, who we finally subbed in there. So you do smart things, you get big results, and Chandler Jones comes up big for our defense. Now we're going to use the middle linebacker as much as possible. I do want to use our Fleener, but if I can't get, here I have him in a purple, like if I can't get the assignment that I want for the middle linebacker, then it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to use our Fleener. Here you see Stick, he throws deep into double coverage, and the pass gets broken up on 2nd and 19. And I like that our legend free safety got in there in the mix. So this guy has a really good offensive line. And so that must mean that he's got to be either weak on defense or weak on, skill positions, but he looks to have some decent skill positions. So I'm thinking it's maybe his defense, because it's hard to spend 4 picks on a lineman and, still have success. Here, 3rd and 19, he lets it tick down. Doesn't get the timeout in. It makes it a 3rd and 26. Not sure what he's doing here, but it's good news for me because it just makes it that much tougher to convert. Plus, if he punts, my field position is going to be all the while better. So I come out in that big dime again. two-man under and hoping to have some success. In this situation, I don't rezone my deep zones. I keep them in their deep blues, and I'm going to use the middle linebacker. That's what I do in these situations. I should have been deeper there. I should have been right in that deep middle. Thankfully, number 29, Xavier Rhodes, makes the play for us. But on 3rd and 24, there's no point really in... I mean, if he threw it short, yeah, I could have got a pick there. That's the position you want to be in on 3rd and 7 or 2nd and 10. But on 3rd and 24, you want to be much deeper in that middle because that's the really only tender area aside from like corner routes. But your two safeties in deep zones on 3rd and 24 corner routes will help you get that. They'll tackle before any real damage is done. All right, so Eddie Royal, huge punt return, cuts it back out to the left, takes it into the red zone, and this game is starting off much, much better. We're going to come out in the gun Ace Twins offset. We're going to look to the play posts and inside zone to try and make some plays for our offense. You're going to see here we have the corner route to Olsen. We've got McCoy coming back across the middle. We can always call inside zone. You don't really want to run anything to the left, but here he tries to run commit, and LaShawn McCoy with a filthy spin move cribs it on his first play of the game. So that's a great, great run by LaShawn McCoy. Just simply able to take advantage of a run commit, playing a guy who we're not sure what he's up to, and we're going to make him pay every time. We get a one-on-one with a tackler, and it's really tough to tackle LaShawn McCoy in draft champs without an elite player on the field. All right, so we line up to kick off. It's 7-0, and we got a stop on the opening drive, so we're feeling good about this game. Not having any trouble yet, but we're going to still come out and make this guy prove that he can beat this man-to-man defense. If you draft towards something, you got to run it in draft champions. I mean, that's a big deal. And what this is going to mean, though, is this guy's going to come out in I form, actually in goal line, and just try and pound us. He's going to go with the hurry up here, and we're just going to try and get our safeties in the box as much as possible. We're understaffed. But it's okay. We don't mind giving up a first down. We're in our dime. This is our strength. This is what we are going to be able to run best. And it's his strength against our strength. It's his Johnson against our Woodson. It's our, it's our best players, our CBs, and maybe his best players are his quarterback, running back, offensive line. And we're going to match up and see if we can, get it done. And it's working so far. He got one first down. But now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 6 after a 2nd and 11. And one big dime 1-4-6. We're going to get out of that for a minute as he comes out in goal line. We're going to go to the 3-4 solid. And we could call trio sky, but I thought he might toss it. And that's an example of like a good player would probably toss here. So we get our guys out wide, and he just ends up running it straight up the middle, and we just get our safety in there. And I'm positive he is going to call play action and throw it to the right side of the screen. So watch what I do. Watch me take this defender and bring him to the right side of this right half of the field, put him in a purple, and then click off. So I have 4 zones on the right side of the screen. You can run it all you want on 4th and 4. Nobody has the chops. Nobody's got the chops here to run it on 4th and 4. It's going to be play action, and it's going to be to the right side of the screen. There's just nothing else there could possibly be. And what else happens but play action to the right side of the screen? I have 4 defenders there. He catches it and doesn't get the yards. That was happening. I think my brother was downstairs while that was happening. I was like, this is exactly what this guy is going to do. So if you hot route a guy and he's on the left side of the screen, his hot route goes to the left. If you hot route a guy and he's on the right side of the screen, he goes to the right. So we moved our guy over. We re-hot routed him, and we got plenty of guys in position. We could have pass committed there, but that's a little risky on 4th and 4 because he could actually run it. But we're now attacking this guy to the flat. We try a little back juke, and we pick up 26 yards. with Teddy Bridgewater. That's Greg Olson. He was a nice draft selection for us, and he's paying off on those routes to the flat. But it's just, not many people would actually stay in goal line, call hurry up, and then keep the same play. So that's why I felt good about it. And that's the other thing, is you got to be willing on 4th and 4 to say, all right, this guy runs it and does get 4 yards. With me in 3-4, then you tip your cap, and it's only a first down. But if you do something crazy like run commit there, and then he beats you deep with PA, like, that's something you don't want to do. I hear Teddy Bridgewater steps up in the pocket. We try and scramble. On first down right there, we didn't do well. We didn't give our opponents much credit in these games. Like, we didn't think this guy would adjust or call the right play. And we thought we could, we'll just throw it to triangle. And then when triangle's not open, we held the ball. And this guy had a pretty good defensive line, so Chandler Jones got in. And on 4th and 26, we are going to actually go for it, I think. But we just called the play really fast because we wanted it to be the end of the quarter. And so what we should have actually done is called a field goal to see if we could hit it. And then if we couldn't, it would be the end of the quarter, and then we could either throw or whatever. But the game is recommending we kick a field goal. In draft champs, you usually don't have a good kicker. I think we have Blair Walsh. I was like, all right, whatever. It's telling us to kick a field goal. We can always take a timeout if it's not a field goal. And we can easily hit this. The problem is it's PS4, and it just lags a little bit. Not PS4, just the game happened to lag at that moment. We couldn't fill it up with full power, and we come up short. So now we forced, I think, 2 punts, or a punt and a turnover on downs. We've moved the ball, but we only have 7 points to show for it. And now this guy's 1 pass away, from making this a tighter game. So it's 1st and 10. In the second quarter, he's got McNabb. We're staying in our 2-man, and he goes deep down the seam, and we are able to knock it loose. We got 2 guys there. Donovan McNabb just 1 for 4 for 3 yards so far in this game. He goes back to passing, and that's another thing that bad players do, is when they want to pass, they come out in these all-out passing sets. I still can't believe he just threw that directly at my defender's face. That made me want to cry and throw up at the same time. Like, I was over the middle of the field, strafing, in perfect position, and he just caught it, and that hurts. But when bad players want to run the ball, they come out in goal line, and they're like, I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it 3 times. And then when they want to pass it, they're like, I'm coming out in 5 wide. I'm going to pass it. I'm going to pass it 3 times. Right there, plenty of defenders. What good players do is they come out in gun doubles, and they run inside zone when they want to run, and when they want to pass, they call simple passes or the same passes, but they don't just they don't start a drive like, I couldn't pass last drive, so I'm going to run this drive. How do you run? Well, you call goal line and you call power O. And then here we're doing a good job using. He throws in double coverage, and Jimmy Smith, who we drafted, comes up big. We're like, and then I couldn't pass right there in that last drive. Well, now I couldn't run in the last drive. Now I'm gonna come out 5 wide receivers and run 4 verticals every play, and I'm gonna call hurry up, and I'm gonna throw deep in the seam to the tight end, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna throw a corner out to the tight end. Like, you can't be that telling with your formations about exactly what you want to do. And I feel like bad players tend to do that more often. But we get the pick. 3 minutes left. And LaShawn McCoy on the inside zone right here is going to get filthy with it. We use that motion from Bryant. We get the block, and McCoy goes to the edge. Oh, that outside juke move, tiptoes. And can he go all the way? Yes, he can. That's a tremendous run right there by LaShawn McCoy. Jukes the last defender, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Guys, that double juke to the outside is absolutely devastating. We saw it last game on the safety in the middle. We saw it with a kick return from Eddie Royal. And right there, McCoy, I set it up. That was the big difference, was setting up that juke to go back to the outside. without setting it up and kind of giving myself space and waiting till the last second, that's not a touchdown. So that's the difference in, a decent gain and a touchdown. So after a touchback, he comes out, throws the slant, which is fine. This is where bad players go into chuck mode. Chuck mode is when all you want to do is pass it. You go down a couple scores, and you're like, I got to catch up. I got to score 14 points on this one drive. I'm going to call slants, and if it works on the left, I'm going to do it to the right, and then I'm going to hurry up and do it again. And once you hurry up, you can only call plays that are your quick audibles. And I generally know what your quick audibles are. They're really not that different from playbook to playbook. So once you've, given up that element of surprise, like you could call any play in your playbook out of the huddle. But once you're already in a formation, and I've seen whatever the play you called was that wasn't your quick audible. So say you call, you got a unique route to the tight end, a corner route. That's not one of your quick audibles. Well, now I know you came out in the play that's the tight end corner, so now I know you could always call tight end corner, but I know you can't call a halfback screen. Right there, I really wanted that interception. I got underneath that, and we couldn't make the play. But so if you're a bad player, what you do is you come out in this play, then you hurry up, and then you quick audible to, for verticals, or the PA corner play, or whatever's in there. There we send the spy. He can't, get rid of it. And look at Keith Rivers making, a sack, just like Chandler Jones could have at that position, but Keith Rivers can't do what Chandler Jones can do at the other end position. So that's something that bad players do also. Like then they call quick slants because that's one of their quick audibles, and that's exactly what he did kind of on some of these plays. So I was nervous that he was going to fake punt, so that was kind of my bad. That's sometimes the reason I don't call punt return. I tend to give up, some big punts because I'm not willing to I call dime 2 men under because I don't want to get beat by a fake punt. I don't even really like when people run fake punts. It's totally fine. It's not going to really work against 2 men, but it bugs me when people call it, so I try and protect myself against it. Like nothing makes me happier than when I call 2-man and then they call a fake punt and then they have to take a timeout. We tried to just go deep right there, set up a PA wide receiver in, but the line didn't hold up. We had to get rid of the ball since he blitzed guys. And that's the caveat with that play is you need the time in the pocket. And Austin could not get any separation right there. So we turned the ball right back over. We're already up 14. We're up 14. This guy can't score. We could take it to the half, and we don't. We throw a pick on the first play back, so that's a bad job by us. Here he tries to run the ball again in a kind of an obvious rushing set from the full house counter lead. Counter is just not good runs, not something you're going to see a lot of success with, so you should scratch those from your playbook if you can. He's going to do it again from the full house, and there's just not many routes in the full house formation that I'm that worried about. That was a good run play, but he does a bad job with the left stick, and he runs into his own guy, so I'm sure he's frustrated about that. But did he make a nice run? Yes, but is this going to work all game long? No. This is a one-off. I'm going to run this drive, and then when he least expects it, I'm going to pass, and then I'm going to get hit with the right stick. Then the QB spy is going to come after me. I'm going to force the throw. Jimmy Smith is going to pick it off, and he's going to go to the house and make it 21-0 with just 10 seconds left in the half, and that's how this half ends. Jimmy Smith, great pick six right there. Let's go back and look at that. He's in full house, which does not have a lot of good man beaters from my recollection. Maybe it has corner strike. But those routes out of the backfield generally not going to beat man, especially with the way that this formation aligns against it. You get the QB spy. He rolls out to the left. He thinks he can get away. We click down on the right stick to send the spy. He panics because he's already been sacked like this before. He throws to a guy standing there. Jimmy Smith easily cuts that throw off, and we return that one all the way. Smith with a spin, misses the tackle, and that was a huge play because our offense had been sloppy. We got sacked out of range basically on one drive, and we threw a pick trying to go for a big play on another. Our run game was really solid, but, you know, it's always fun to run, but we got to be better passing the ball. And at the end of the half, he can't get anything going. And if you know this guy, you know he's up to no good because he's going to start the second half with an onside kick. So what we do is we simply press square L1. That's all you have to do. We run a normal kick return. We don't get the hands team out there, but you should be pretty good. We press square L1. That changes to our onside kick return, and we easily pick it up, and now we have great field goal range. We're up 21, or great field position. We're up 21-0, and you know this guy hasn't tried those full house passing plays before, so full house is great for playmakering. I will say, like, sometimes against Gibbs I'll run full house. The handoffs are a little slow, but you can get some pretty good blocking out of it, so it's not a terrible formation. Here he goes with the run commit, and we overthrow the ball by about a mile. Teddy Bridgewater. But you need to have more passes out of it. Even if it's just a one-on-one streak on the outside, if you just streak both outside receivers and they're committed to stopping the run. The problem is, like, I didn't care that he was running it, so he couldn't really streak the outside left. And right here, we throw a simple flat pattern. This guy run commits, and this one's pretty much over. But you know, that's what full house is good for. Is you can max protect, you can throw one-on-one streaks. They have to be worried about the run, so hopefully they don't have safeties on both sides. It's good to playmaker. It's good to, you know, mix up all the gaps you can hit with the run game. But if you just come out like he did and you don't put any fear into me with the run game, and you don't put any fear into me with the deep ball, then you're not going to have fun with it. So that's why I would recommend not going with the full house if you're still learning the game. We kick off to him, 28-0. And this one, you know, we're expecting a quit. We're hoping we get the quit right after half and just move on to the next game. We go for the strip ball, RB, but we can't get anything happening. So another thing bad players do is they, you know, play action here. He rolls out, and our contain just eats him alive off the edge. Like, bad players will get sacked by contains a lot. If you stay in the pocket, and part of that is just bad play calling, like that PA play, that's just not a good PA fake. It drops the quarterback really weird. Like, we talked about that in the last game, or in the Bears playbook, how sometimes those PAs, like, your quarterback ends up, like, scrambling even though it's just a handoff fake. I'm sure that's a similar thing, like, and that allowed him to get out of his general, like, area of the pocket he should have been in. There, you see he did a better job breaking out of the play action, and, you know, he still wanted to instantly roll out, and we had the spy there, but if you get sacked by contains, that's generally the mark of a bad player. And you got to just be better with the left stick. You got to go into practice mode. The CPU rush in practice mode is so fierce that I see myself, if it's a full step drop, like a 7-step drop type play like that was, that is what happens. Like, the end, if he's in a wide position, he'll get around the tackle, and you got to step up in the pocket with the left stick. Otherwise, if you drop back at all or move left or right at all, you'll end up getting sacked. Here, we expect maybe a fake punt. We're not sure why he's, like, kind of still playing. It's pretty rare. So it's you know, 28-0. We don't really know what he can be doing. He does punt it and ends up costing us a ton of yards. But like I said, I just don't have the patience for onside kicks and fake punts, so I protect myself against that. Even though it will cost me yards from time to time, I'm okay with that. We are going to come out one more drive in the gun ace twins offset and just see if we can put it into it. We've been running the ball really, really well, and we want to keep that going. We want to also learn to pass from this gun ace twins and feel like we have a good passing scheme in case we run into a better player who, is going to give us frustrations. So we want to balance those two things. This game's well in hand, but we want to try some of these. This PA play is pretty good. This inside zone's pretty good. And LaShawn McCoy breaks that really tough, nice spin move. Is able to have a big game. He's got 3 carries for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, his first non-touchdown carry of the game. And we like the way that happens. So third carry from McCoy. We're thinking about giving him number 4 right here. Teddy Bridgewater, a couple overthrows when we had this specific version, but definitely an upgrade from the base QBs. We go back across the middle, LaShawn McCoy, in that angle route. As those zones drift away, he's in cover 4. He just got the one hook. You can fit that in for 7 yards. That's what makes the angle route really good. It doesn't have to be that man beater to get you 25. It's got to just let the zones drift away. Here, McCoy, left stick, right stick cut. And he's not running very fast, but that agility and that ability. Tightrope, stay in. That ability with McCoy. He's got 4 for 174 to use the left stick cuts that we've seen and then be able to use right stick jukes with him. I think it makes him one of the best backs. We don't know if he's going to get maybe a flashback. If he got a flashback to his Eagle days, that would be pretty sick. Because even just the base McCoy that I keep getting in draft champs, it just puts him on another level. And that Barry, that agility puts him on another level. Here, Teddy Bridgewater's going to scramble, take off, and get in for the touchdown. And I'm going to call this one a game. And even though this guy did end up taking it to the end, he ended up scoring on me, made it I think 42-7 was the final. It was a good game. I just wanted to show you guys a couple mistakes that newer players make and why it's so predictable when you're playing somebody that you're able to stop them. So hopefully this teaches some of you guys like, I shouldn't just do the thing where I go into goal line, run, and then go to 5 wide, pass. I should stay in a more balanced formation, and I can still run and pass out of that, but not make it so obvious to my opponent. Because the other thing is when you go to a formation that's all pass, if you are gonna run, because it's like 3rd and 1, I know what run it's gonna be. And if you're in a all run formation and you go to a pass, I know what pass is gonna be if it's like 3rd and 7. It's gonna be like a tight end corner if it's a goal line. So it means you can only do so much. But we've got one more game coming up for you after this next draft, so I hope you guys enjoy it here on This Week in Madden Show 177. Make sure to give this channel a follow, and next Wednesday, S. Gibbs will be back, and we'll be here for more action. All right, guys, follow up, and then let's watch this next draft, and we got one more game for you. All right, quick look into some more MUT action here on This Week in Madden. We've got Lawrence Taylor that came out. He's got 96 block shed, 91 strength, 94 hip power. I love his excel, and his finesse move is 97, but his power move is 96. Now you might think, all right, he's got finesse and power. That's great. How it works basically, and I think Rex confirmed this on the MUTcast, is they're gonna play unless you click on and rush with them. You're generally going to want to use the higher rated move because you want a higher chance. So you're basically with LT getting 97 finesse move. You can basically kind of get rid of the 96 power move for the most part. So that means he's a 97 pass rusher, which is very, very good. Coupled with the 96 block shed is tremendous. Great excel. But for a legend that's a 98, his play rec's a little low, and 94 hit power is good. I want to see 96, 97. So I do like this LT. My issue is what role do I want him in? Like I said, he can't drop into zone coverage, really. That, he can at times, but that's not going to be his main role. So he's really a pass rusher off the edge with 97 finesse, 97 excel. The good thing is he can also stop the run, so that's where you do get that double value, but that's a lot of coins for a pass rusher where you might be able to go and get that Aaron Lynch for less of a cost. He's not going to stop the run as well, but maybe you get the same excel and some of the same I think you probably get 97 rush move there also. So make sure the LT fits what you want to do. I think it's a good item. I just think if you don't use it properly, then of course it's not going to be that great. Draft time. We were able to reset our play a friend. Remember using the right stick before where you're on the play a game menu, you can reset. And the Colts, the Eagles, and the Jags. I would say it's between the Colts and the Eagles. Now the Colts has the shovel option run scheme, the double P. It's got gun split close. I like it as my main running playbook, so we're going to go with that. And that means we're going to need to get a mobile QB, and we're going to need to get a good left tackle, and we're going to need a good halfback. And, you get some good tackles here. Phil Loadholt's the best run blocker of the bunch. Even though he's a right tackle, I take him. I figure I can run the shovel option flipped. I love LaShawn McCoy. Cam Newton's perfect for this because he's fast. And if we're running the shovel option, then Cam's got to be the guy. But I got to go LaShawn McCoy. I mean, we had him in the last 2 games, and he's just so good in draft champs. He has really high route running, too, so if you don't get a receiver, you can always use LaShawn McCoy at receiver. I think he's the most versatile player in draft champs. So I take him. I take him nearly every time. Washington's good, but Chris Long, Hedabo's too slow. Long is strong, good block shed, good excel, and should be able to get after the passer a little bit and still be pretty good in the run game. He's an upgrade from most base players. Fitzpatrick can't run the shovel option, so we can't draft him. We already have a tackle, so we take a guard, and now our right side's coming along. And like I said, I like to run to the left, but even with the shovel option, you do need good right side of the line because you run inside zone, and then you end up running it off tackle. Muhort's the best of these guys, even though Whitworth is very good, and left tackle's an important position. I do see Greg Robinson, who's strong there. Dunlap, I've already taken long. Cameron Jordan, I've already taken long. Jordan's a better all-around player than Dunlap, but Dunlap's a better pass rusher. I do go with Burnett, even though he's got pretty low. It's either, I think his zone coverage is pretty low, but I just like to get as many players in the secondary as possible above Silver. We're stuck with linemen here. We already have we don't have a center yet. We were already thinking about moving a guard to center. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. I like that we have a powerful line because I'm a big fan of this run scheme from inside zone. And unless you really went elite, you're not going to be able to get much push against my defense, with your defense against my offensive line. I like Big Ben, but he can't run the shovel option, so we go with Levante David, who's a great zone coverage defender. And I love Gilmore. Like, Gilmore is so good. We don't have any CBs. Kiko is really good. He's not great, though. Anthony Barr is great. Anthony Barr is the guy you see. To go with Levante David as a user, I mean, that's probably one of the best in the game. I know it wasn't the David, but it also wasn't the Gilmore. So that means, though, we have to take Greg Toller because Gilmore is much better than Toller. No doubt about it. But I had to take David. And as much as I want to take McCoy here, it's got to be Scandrick, That's where that comes back to hurt you. But there was just some user plays I had been missing in draft champs that I usually make with, some of the guys on my MUT team. And I wanted to have Barr to user for a game just to feel like I could make plays. This is probably the worst draft champs round I've ever got. I had to take Steven Jackson. I don't know why. Couldn't take another lineman. At least he can catch a little bit, maybe, is my thought. Free safety Calvin I've never used, so we want to use him. We really want to stack our CBs with Jimmy Smith, but we've already got 2, so we don't feel too bad about it. And Calvin gives us a little more range. I know we can't use our Barr and Calvin. That's kind of the one caveat to our picks so far. It's got to be Andre Johnson because we don't have a receiver, even though Jason Peters is probably a better pick. And in our legend round, it could be Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott's actually, now that I look back at this draft, I think Ronnie Lott is the pick here because you could play him at, up in the box, in the nickel. but we end up going Marshall Falk because between him and McCoy, you can play one at receiver. So we'll end up playing Falk at receiver, and in the Colt scheme, that's actually a pretty good thing because they have gun split close. You could always move Andre Johnson to tight end, and you could, we didn't take a quarterback, but we do have Christian Ponder. So when you have Christian Ponder, he's got 82 speed. You want to run the ball anyways. It's not a big deal. You can see they already put McCoy at halfback for us, or at receiver for us. I say we do move Andre Johnson to tight end probably. We have a great line. We're going to put Greg Robinson in the game at line. We have 2 halfbacks. Steven Jackson's basically useless beyond being a fullback and a guy who, has 2 hands and can sort of catch. We're looking at Fells here. He's got good run block, so we might sub him in if we need a good blocker. We could also, we're going to put a guard at center, and we'll get that all set up. We want to find you actually have some pretty good linemen capable. Like, don't sleep on your linemen. Like, Eric Flowers is a pretty good silver lineman. Greg Robinson is a pretty good silver lineman. That's for the run game. Obviously, they'll get dominated by legends and stuff on the D-line, but not many people go draft there anyways. Defensively, we got Calvin Johnson at free safety and Anthony Barr, so 2 really good users, kind of no matter where we are. We got 2 CBs, although Toller's not great. Chris Long will hold up. Vic Beasley, I like seeing him as my silver team. And then Burnett is nothing to write home about, but we always look through our CBs. We don't have Burley here, who's good, but the game will sub out some of your CBs, so you always kind of want to go and put them in, or take out guys who are totally not going to play. But you have extra room on your free safeties and to stack some extra draft champ silvers just in case. Like McDougal could play for you if you wanted. He's got 81 man and 90 speed. So you could sub him in. Carter stays in the lineup anyways. And it's just a way to get more guys on your draft champs lineup. All right, this is a pretty good draft. And hopefully we can win some games with this in PS4 Draft Champs Play a Friend. Let's take a look at the legends. The Jerry Rice right here is, I would say, the best receiver in the game behind Odell Beckham, MUT Master. He's 94 speed. Very rare for a Rice to get that much speed. I think he did come out a little later, so that's nice for the Rice. But he's got a great blend of spec and catching traffic. He's got the route running and the release. So he really does it all. And that was my beef with the Irvin, was that he didn't have the route running. But I think Rice is going to be able to pretty much do everything, and he has the speed, and height's not as important. Because usually I would kind of dismiss Rice in Madden because of the height and the speed. But he finally has some of the speed, and he has that spec and catch and traffic combo that I like to see from my guys. Because I've used Kelvin Benjamin with 97. That's something I look for in a specific role, right? I don't look for it in my drags or my streaks, those combos. But if I'm going one-on-one, that's what I want to see. If I'm going across the middle, I want to hang on to the ball. If I'm going downfield to Odell style one-on-one, I want those ratings. And I think Jerry Rice finally is the greatest receiver of all time. I think in MUT now, he really is at that level. All right, last game of the night, the game of the week, and we're continuing our theme of what do bad players do. So if you see something you do, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to follow that channel. Nothing bad on that opening play, 26-yard line. We're going to come out in the big dime. We're sticking with our team, Chandler Jones at the right end position. We're going to user control John Bostic, I believe, this game, and Woodyard is going to be in there. At the strong safety position, we take Colby Fleener out. He is our 4th CB. The strong safety goes to the 4th CB. We put in Jimmy Smith, Xavier Rhodes, and right there you see a corner route to Brandon Cooks, and we're able to break up the pass. We have Rod Woodson, we have the Arizona offense and defense. We're going to user control the left side of the field. and we drop a purple, and a bad player throws it anyways. So he's trying to target that corner route to Z spot, and we are doing a good job covering it pretty nicely. Here you see 4 verticals. We can instantly see it's the route, and bad players throw it anyways, and even worse players don't make the user pick. I don't know if it's Draft Champs, I don't know if it's PS4, I don't know if I'm strafing improperly, but I'm just not getting animations that I'm used to getting. Here, he hits us across the field. That's Alan Hearns, who I was like, alright, that Alan Hearns is a big body. He's pretty decent. I'm going to have to keep an eye out for him. We'll find out later in the game why that is a mistake, but Fleener here, we're using, and Hearns hits us again, and bad players miss tackles, and that is what costs us our first touchdown. So right there, we make an Alan Hearns look like a superstar, and then I realized, wow, that's silver Alan Hearns, 72 overall. So we're getting beat by, we have Freeze Josh Norman, Jimmy Smith, Xavier Rhodes, Patrick Robinson, legend Rod Woodson, safety, and we're getting beat by a silver. So we go down 7-0, not a big deal. His opening drive, we know this guy likes to pass the ball, and we got him to 3rd down. We just didn't make plays. So it's only 7-0, and we're going to just look to get into our offense. We're going to come out in the gun Ace Twins offset and just make sure we have everybody subbed in. We're going to try and sub in Martavis Bryant instead of Eddie Royal. We figure he's a little stronger. We come out in the play posts. That's a great play to come out in the gun Ace Twins. What a spin move by LaShawn McCoy, and we break the tackle, and bad players give up big runs. And LaShawn McCoy with some excellent spin moves in this game. I would like to check out his spin rating. His first carry goes for 64, and that gun Ace Twins inside zone has been giving us big gains all day long on this episode of This Week in Madden 177. We need to keep going to that run. We need to understand its power and not give up on it. Sometimes we have success and we tend to go away. Here, Teddy Bridgewater's going to try and scramble. We get out of bounds. We pick up 9 yards on the play. So a good job getting out of bounds after a 9-yard gain. On 2nd and 1, we're going to... let's see. So he brought his defenders over, and LaShawn McCoy dives. So right there, bad players do not get into the end zone right there. And now it's a 1st and goal at the 3. We should still score, but you want to get in right there. I'm not sure why we dove. That opens us up to a fumble. And we tried to go to the flat. For some reason, watching the replay, it was clear the flat was wide open. I thought it was covered. It's tough to see out there, I guess. I don't know. I should have definitely thrown the flat. I made the read to go to the flat, but we just didn't get it done. Here on 2nd and goal, though, we run the inside zone, and we go up over the top for a fumble. Wow, we just fumbled instead of scoring a touchdown. So we're down 7-0. We get an easy, simple drive. And as we have a wide open touchdown, bad players dive into the end zone. I always say that bad players fumble a lot. Gibbs fumbles a lot. He's a good player, but I think he opens himself up to a lot of fumbles. Right there, we opened ourselves up to a fumble for no reason. There was nothing really to gain from diving over the top right there, and it cost us a fumble. And now we got him at the inch line on 2nd and 10, and we've got to make him pay. And we don't do that. We give up a quick drag, and he gets 28 yards on the pass. So all of a sudden, it's not 7-7, it's 7-0, and now he's moved the ball out of his goal line. On 2nd down, on his second play after the 1st down, we get a big hit after a drag. But we're sticking with the man-to-man defense. I feel like we can definitely stop them. We're mixing up our deep zones, and this is going to be a corner route because we just know that it's going to be a corner route, and he gets a false start penalty. So anytime he was in that gun bunch, I think he was using to play Z-spot, which is good. What was frustrating was we were calling press when this happened. We were, and that route was still getting open, and that's Silver Allen Hearns working Xavier Rhodes. That's a matchup we like in our favor, but we've given up 3 catches for 72 yards to Hearns. So here you see we press. We clearly call press that time, and we get smoked on the cut again. Different receiver that time, but it's not working. So maybe we need to adjust, and we'll do that as the game goes on. We'll do that with our safeties. Good players tend to be able to make adjustments with their safeties. And here you see we got, oh man, like that's got to be a pick. Like we sat there, we waited for it. We did the mow where we got real close into the line of scrimmage, but we just didn't get the animation. Bad players will use those auto motion plays like flanker drive where I know what you're calling after I know it's going to be a drag. Like I know there's just nothing else it could be at that point. I've moved the mic a little closer to my mouth this game because I'm fired up. 7-0 here. He goes with the curl underneath and drops it. It's tough in draft champs to really not to blow out your opponent, but to get separation. We dropped a couple interceptions, and now it's 3rd and 2. It's that drag play again. It's pretty clear, pretty obvious. We're using. We go to send the spy, and bad players hit the wrong buttons at the wrong times. We went to click the right stick to send a spy after the quarterback, which is a common tactic we use. Instead, we flicked the stick by accident, and we dove with our user player. The spy never went, and he was able to open it. Right there, he was going to throw the corner, and I think it was covered, but the sack got in, unfortunately. Look at Cam Newton, though, right now. He's 9 for 14. So let's note Cam Newton, 9 for 14. We have both safeties in purple zones. Auto motion. No pick. So we have the curl. He's now 9 for 15. So you want to keep that in mind. But, yeah, click it, don't flick it. That's what I say about the QB spy thing. It was PS4. I don't feel like I've ever actually flicked it on Xbox. I'm usually pretty good at clicking it. 4 verts. Curl. 3rd and 10. He's going to probably take the 3 right here. Cam Newton now 10 for 16 on the day. So it's the second quarter. We should have scored. We fumbled going into the end zone, and it's now 10-0. We're going to have to fight in this one, even though, this guy's definitely better than the last couple guys, but at the same time, he's just kind of passing it a ton, and you're going to get picks. So maybe it's PS4 that's causing me to flick the stick when I'm going to click it, just because maybe it's a little more sensitive, the right stick, or it's just a little lower. But I felt like I might have had an interception there, or at least a sack, because I don't think he would have been able to get rid of the ball. One thing that we did on our first drive was run the ball. I mean, we had a huge gain, and the gun split close, you can't really run from all that well. This fullback inside play is pretty good, but it's generally a passing formation. There, Teddy Bridgewater sails one, so he's now sailed plenty of passes already. So, Teddy's kind of the litmus test, I would say. He's like the threshold, like he's the baseline of... I like his ratings. Like, I think he's good. This is, I think, road to the playoffs, Teddy. But he doesn't make all the throws. So if you got a guy, he's got to be a lot better than Teddy Bridgewater to feel really confident. And like the Cam Newton, no chance. I think the Teddy's better than the Cam. But accuracy-wise, like ratings-wise, I don't know about on the field, but I feel like the Cam would sail passes. I mean, unless you're getting Drew Brees or Ben Roethlisberger or somebody who can really be accurate, that's not going to work. But right there, we hit the flat pass, and like I said, bad players, when they get down 2 scores, start passing the ball. Or just, they change up their game plan. And right here, it's almost like we're trying to score 10 points on this drive. Right there, that turned out to be man-to-man. The corner route didn't get a ton of separation, so I didn't throw it. And, that's a smart move to not throw it by me. But if I had touched past that, I think it only would have been me that could have caught it, or it would have went out of bounds. So once my one read wasn't open, I just froze, and then I took the sack. So that's bad by me. Right there, we chuck one to Austin. That was a throw under pressure we felt like we had to make. That could have went poorly, but Tavon Austin's able to make the play. I know this guy has good defensive lineman. I'm not sure who's in his secondary. I don't think it's a position of strength for him, though. Here you see with McCoy, we try and go up the middle, and J.J. Watt makes the tackle. Right now, we're thinking touchdown with no time left in the half. We chew clock with 1:30 and 4. 3, 2, we run again. We try and go off tackle on 2nd and 10, and Lawrence Taylor makes the play. So he's got 2 amazing defensive linemen, and they're doing a good job stopping the run. It's now 2nd and 13, or excuse me, 3rd and 13. We're in field goal range, and that's good news because we want to make it a one-score game. We do get ball at half, but we want to score, and we do that here by waiting for the corner route to open up. We could have went to the flat and still probably picked it up because there was just nobody over there. Cover 2 sink, but the corner route turns out to be wide open for us, and we take it, and the clock's now ticking down. There's 54 seconds left, and we went out of bounds. So right here, we run the fullback inside off the left side. It was a great time to call that play. There's 46 seconds left. We're going to get to the line of scrimmage. He's off sides, and we score a touchdown. So now there's 38 seconds left. We score, we decline the penalty. That's a little more time than you want to leave, but we feel like we can definitely get a stop. I think we can even get an interception and possibly get some of our own points on this next drive. That's how I felt in the first game on the stream, and that's how I feel right now. So with 38 seconds left, I think you have to kick deep in this situation. You don't really have a choice about what you want. You can't really kick short because with 3 timeouts, that's a field goal waiting to happen if you do like a short kick and give it to him at the 50. Here he's still able to get out to the 28, but fortunately we're able to slow him down. We go to the big dime, as that is, people are watching, why do you play so much man this game? Well, we have the exact personnel we need for this. Here we leave one-on-one Josh Norman freeze, so that's a really good version. To leave on Jared Cook. Jared Cook with very low catch in traffic. Not going to make that play. Good job of him to take a shot. That's one of his, best passes of the game. Really, only time it was truly one-on-one and he took a chance. So there we actually send the spy, and we get the pick. Rod Woodson comes up big, but he can't get a return at all. So that was basically an arm punt. Now we have the ball at our own 28 with 20 seconds left. And right here, I think we should probably run the ball and see, because we have 3 timeouts, see if we can just get a huge chunk of yards. We've already got a 60-yard run in this game, but we go to the gun split close, and that's our passing set. And, we do sub in Tavon Austin at X. So Tavon Austin is the X route. That's our deep route on this play. We set in the pocket, and we try and go deep. It was double covered. It looks like he was in cover 3. Sky. Usually, sometimes you can split that. Earlier in the year, before deep safeties were improved, you could definitely split that defense, especially with a speed guy like Tavon Austin there. And we're going to go back and try it one more time. Now there's only 15 seconds left. We're going to block some extra blockers, and he just gets double-team block shit through the middle. So our offensive line is not holding up in this draft champions match. And it's interesting to see, this guy definitely spent some great picks. J.J. Watt, Lawrence Taylor, and then he's got another linebacker over there. And we get a bad throw. So 7 seconds left. We have to punt. If it was 5 seconds, you could bomb it deep, and then the half would just be over if you didn't complete it. But 7 seconds, I'm not so sure with the fact that I've been getting no time in the pocket that I could just chuck one deep and the whole clock would run out. So, it's likely, but it's not extremely likely. And then he would be in field goal range. If I was, 15 yards up and he couldn't kick a field goal if I didn't convert, or if I got sacked or something, then you could do it. But I just punted it straight up in the air, and, good players, Hail Mary, cover 3 deep, run back as far as possible, and got plenty of defenders in the area, make the pick with no time left in the half. I was a little nervous we ran back into our own end zone, but Hail Mary ain't got nothing on me. Quarters, man up 3 deep, and lock it up. So we get ball at half. We did get the touchdown, so it's 10-7. And this, at the point, my dad had left, and my brother had now came in, and he said, "Are you Pittsburgh?" And I said, "No." I said, "Don't worry, though. This guy's not good. I've got this game. It's just going to take a little longer than I would have liked." I fumbled on my opening drive. That's a Madden player's, only saving grace. I talked about this during the Madden Challenge a little bit. It was when Tweezy played Mo, and he picked him off in the end zone, but then he got the safety. It's like when you go home and your friends from home that don't understand how the games play and that everyone else is good too are like, "You lost? I thought you were one of the best." And it's like, your excuse is, "Dude, I picked him, but I ran back." For me, it was like, "Dude, I had a 70-yard run, but I fumbled at the 1 for no reason." Well, the truth is, I tried to jump over the pile like an idiot, and that's why I fumbled. But here, notice we pat the butt, and that gets him with LT to get going the other way. We then call the toss, and we haven't really used a I-form type pair. We did sub in an extra lineman, and it's now, it worked to get us a first down, but remember, good players come out and run heavy sets and say, "I'm going to pound the rock 3 times." We just did that right there, and it worked, but we didn't want to then get out of there. McCoy, since his one big carry, 65 yards on the first play, has 7 carries for 15 yards, so our running attack has gone downhill. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Arizona offense, Arizona defense, draft champion, ZFarls, Teddy Bridgewater, airmail to Tavon Austin. And I don't know if that's a pass lead specific overthrow or a route specific overthrow, or Austin is not a big receiver overthrow, or I'm moving my feet overthrow, or I'm under pressure overthrow. I don't know what it is, but I missed that route quite a bit. And right there, though, we throw an absolute dot. That's the touch pass. That's the one I should have thrown earlier on man-to-man coverage. And we possession catch it for a big gain. So Austin, 2 catches for 50 yards. And I know we're going to this gun split close play quite a bit, but what I liked about it was that here we go to the flat, try and make a spin, pick up a couple yards. He's mixing in zone coverage, and I feel pretty comfortable passing in it, and I know that I can attack the flat, and I have Greg Olsen. He's one of my better players. It's one of the throws I feel safest making, especially with Bridgewater, who is having some accuracy issues. I can always scramble if nothing's open, and he wasn't calling man-to-man press, which is I would have went away from the gun split close if that was the case. Here we try and toss it out to the right again. We put Tavon Austin there, who's super fast, and we don't get the blocks we need. We lose 3 yards, actually, and I thought that was a chance to go for a touchdown. Now, I notice he's in cover 2, and he's been mixing that up nicely. This is just a horrible idea by me. Remember, bad players call plays they haven't practiced. This gun flip trips play, halfback wheel, I've practiced this. This was my 2-point conversion play in Madden 13. This is a great play for Madden 13. The small issue is this is Madden 16, and so 3 years have changed the game quite a bit, and Burley, who's a very good silver corner and good in zone coverage, gets the pick on LaShawn McCoy. So, I wasn't getting the time in the pocket. I felt like he had the matchup advantage on the D-line in draft champs, and I called a play I'd never practiced, and I threw an interception. So that was a big mistake by me, and I know my defense is going to have to save me. You see Allen Hurns on the right side of the screen in press man-to-man coverage on the corner route. He throws it and completes it. It was just not open. But Cam Newton now 11 for 20. Hurns 4 catches for 85 yards, and I'm thinking this Allen Hurns is tearing me up. Auto motion. What do? We go with the route. We click the right stick. And he gets an inaccurate pass. I need that inaccurate pass to go to one of my defenders. That's what I need right there. I need a big turnover. That's Kobe Fleener out of position. Strong safety. The review on him, I would say he's nothing special. 2nd and 10. Corner route gets knocked out. So that's Xavier Rhodes coming up big on Hurns right there. And that's how I felt that matchup should have gone most of the game. But Hurns had a pretty nice day. Same thing here. We got a purple route over on that side. We see the 4 vertical routes happening. He throws it deep downfield, and we're able to dodge a one-on-one bullet right there. On 4th and 10, he's only up 3. He's on the 37-yard line. He chooses to punt, and we come out in punt safe man because we're, we want a good return because this one's not over, but we also don't want to give up a fake. So we take some precaution, and you'll see here that we're able to scoop it up and actually get a pretty decent return with Eddie Royal up towards midfield. So he went for the short punt, and it turned out to be okay for our offense. Now we're at midfield. There's 11 seconds left in the third quarter, and we're going to come out in the gun ace twins offset. This is the point in the game where I'm thinking, all right, let's just run the ball. Like, enough nonsense. He's using his linebacker, and he's just kind of wreaking havoc in the middle with the 96 block shed rating. So we're going to hit the flat where he's using, and we get a big gain with Croft right there, the rookie, I believe. And that makes it the third quarter ending, and now it's time for fourth quarter Farls. What could go wrong? We're down by 3. We're fighting hard. We had the fumble on the opening drive at the 1-yard line, so we feel like we're doing okay, but we've also not been playing our best game. Right there, LaShawn McCoy breaks 6 tackles, but somehow manages to lose a yard, which was frustrating. So we flip the play, and we're going to look to the corner route with the flat combo, and the square gets open, but we're hesitant to throw it, and J.J. Watt block sheds, and now it's 3rd and 20, and we're at the 45-yard line. So our thought in this situation is, all right, we can at least tie the game with a field goal, but we got to get some yards back here. So we go to the crosshairs play. We look to the tight end underneath. We're trying to motion out the halfback on a streak just to get rid of the play action and make a little more separation, kind of help push the zones back. And, this is a play. I understand why it works. I use it every now and then. I look to Greg Olsen on this play. But in 3rd and 15, it's not a play for this situation that I've used. And we get sacked again because we don't want to turn the ball over. We're not comfortable going to Eddie Royal one-on-one on the left side. We really want to go to Bryant one-on-one. And at this point, we're over midfield. We know we can stop this guy on offense. So we're just going to go for it on 4th and 23 rather than punt. It turns out to be a bad decision as we throw into triple coverage. And that's what bad players do. They throw into triple coverage. They call the same play they just called that didn't work. They get frustrated. And we still got to fight, though. There's only 3 minutes left in the game. It is 10-7. We're losing in Draft Champions, going for our 3rd win. And we got Colby Fleener up in the box, strong safety. And the quarterback rolls out. We send the spy by clicking the right stick. He throws it, and we get the dropped pick. I think that's... I don't know who 26 is. Maybe Patrick Robinson. I don't think it was Woodson, but we dropped the pick, and that's a pick 6 that we got earlier with Jimmy Smith. So losing that pick 6 hurts, and then he drops that. So Cam Newton now 11 for 25. Hasn't completed a pass seemingly in a while, and we're going to need that to hold true on 3rd and 10. We call the purple zone to the right side of the field. It ends up being 4 verticals. He goes deep downfield, and we get the pick. Jimmy Smith comes up huge for the defense, and that Jimmy Smith's been playing big, man. Unfortunately, no return on the play, but it gives us the ball back and a chance to drive down and win this game. We need 4th quarter Farls to show up here. We go with the play posts, and we hit the flat. Those flats have been paying big, and Croft spins and takes a big hit. Goes over backwards, but not before picking up a big gain. All right, we go to the hurry-up offense with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. We run the inside zone. He's got his linebacker over there. Sean McCoy spins and goes and breaks another tackle over midfield with 2.5 minutes left. McCoy 2 big carries, 8 so-so carries so far in this game. We come out with this play set up to the right side. McCoy, after a motion, takes it up the middle, left cuts hard on the left stick, can't spin away from the defender, but goes up to 100 yards on 11 carries at the 2-minute warning with that 5-yard gain. ZFarls with the Arizona Cardinals offense, Cardinals defense. Guys, make sure to follow the channel. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch with the little heart button. 2-minute warning, 2nd and 5, 4th quarter Farls, Giants uniforms, trying to get a draft champions W. And we go with a little motion streak to Benny Cunningham. We know it's Benny Cunningham, but we realize it's cover 2 before that snap. If you go back and watch that, you can easily see that it's cover 2. So the safeties, there's 2 safeties up top, and then you see the guy on the far right side of the screen. We can tell he's in a flat zone. I wanted to go to Bryant, but you'll see at the snap that the safety does go out that way. So I streak Olsen too, and then I put Cunningham underneath. And you'll see with cover 2, once the flat lets the guy on the outside right go, the X route's wide open. I'm glad we got the pass lead we needed, but that was just kind of a made-up play on the fly. Just hot routed a bunch of dudes. When I saw cover 2, he had been calling a lot of cover 2. I didn't really have an exact cover 2 beater, but the 2 streaks did enough and allowed me to make the throw. Minute 40 seconds left. We are calling fake hot routes at this point. We just don't want him to realize that we're going to score with no time left, and we're going to go inside zones and try and make some plays. Here you see LaShawn McCoy go right up the middle with a nice juke and picks up about 7 yards. We go to hurry up so that he won't call a timeout right away. So normally if you go back to the play call menu, people are like, oh, I should probably call a timeout. But what you do is you hold down triangle, you hurry up, and they're like, I got to get my defense set up. They forget about the clock for a couple seconds. They're like, oh, this guy must be worried he's not going to score. And then you call some fake hot routes. All of a sudden, with 7 seconds left, you're like, wow, this guy just wasted all this time. So that was my logic on this play right here. We call the inside zone, and we just do an absolutely terrible job reading the hole. We tried to go back out to the right, and it wasn't happening against J.J. Watt in draft champs. We just didn't have the lineman to hold up. Now with 3rd and 6, we call this play, which is terrible. But we are able to scramble with Teddy Bridgewater and slide inside the 5-yard line. Just not a great play call. That play hasn't worked for us that much. We call the hurry up again with 24 seconds left. We go with the inside zone, and McCoy gets tackled. There's now 20 seconds left in the game. We're still not taking timeout. What happened, though, is I called a play. Before he picked a play, I was afraid I had chew clock on, and I was going to come out of the huddle, and it was going to run the clock all the way down. So that is why I called timeout after I picked my play. That was the one reason. I didn't pick a great play either, but here cover 2, we think it's cover 2. It turns out to be sink, and we get short. We end up short. We couldn't rack it upfield, but it turns out to be cover 2 sink. I thought it was cover 2. That's why I had the slant on the outside right guy, but it turned out to be cover 2 sink, which doesn't have the flat zones, and we get wide open. 3rd and goal. Teddy Bridgewater sneaks it in. 14 seconds left. No time ticks off, and 4th quarter Farls has himself a draft champions W. Dude, that was a hard-fought game, man. Draft champs, super, super tough to really separate yourself. Balanced teams, Bridgewater with some overthrows. He had the good D-line, which counteracted the running game we wanted to do. We had the Cardinals playbook. Oh, no, we kicked a bad kick. No big deal. I mean, not a big deal, but that wasn't the kick that we wanted. We tried to Gibbs kick it, but when we flicked the stick back up, it didn't hold. It went all the way back down, and that causes bad kicks. So, tough break right there, but whatever. We'll just call quarters 3 deep, like we did at the end of the first half. Remember, good players at the end of games call man up 3 deep, and then they get on their middle linebacker. They run all the way back, leaving all 3 deep safeties. And that's pretty much all you got to do. You see we're backed up way back at the snap of the ball. Snap of the ball, we're way back, way back. We got Colby Fleener, 6'6" back there. The Colts, we just lost on a Hail Mary. The chat is going ham right now. We just lost on a Hail Mary All the haters in the house are chirping loud, and I am devastated. When this happened, I was crushed. A 61-yard Hail Mary. We kicked off with 14 seconds left. We called man up 3 deep. We had Colby Fleener, 6'6", in the end zone. We drafted 4 elite CBs. Josh Norman Freeze was over there. And Brandon Cooks, of all people, hauls in the catch. But that's not a big deal. I mean, Farls wouldn't post this game on TWIM if he didn't come back with 4 seconds left and win the game anyway, right? So we call a fair catch. I would have probably tried a kick return, but he kicked it short. And so with 4 seconds left, not a big deal. This guy's obviously super smart. He's going to come out in quarters 3 deep, and you can't beat that deep for a Hail Mary. So Farls wouldn't post this game if he didn't win, right? Wide receiver corner, we got Tavon Austin, 96 speed, I think, in there. Let's see if this guy's going to give up. Let's see if he just comes out quarters 3 deep, because you wouldn't want to give Tavon Austin a lane one-on-one. Oh, it looks like he's not in quarters 3 deep. Tavon Austin. Teddy Bridgewater blocks everybody. Snap of the ball. Teddy Bridgewater steps in to throw to X. One-on-one. Tavon Austin. Aggressive catch. OP. We really lost on a Hail Mary. Farls really posted that. So we fought back real tough in draft champs. We scored after a fumble with 14 seconds left on a nice drive. We got picks all late in the game. We had three takeaways. But we lose the game on a Hail Mary. And, we felt like we were in the right defense. But there's just, unfortunately, some tough luck. We got back there with the user. We did stay to the middle of the field. We weren't sure quite where he was going to go. I guess we could have had our user more to that right side of the field. But like we said, let's see what happened. I know the chat is loving this, guys. Make sure to follow the channel. This was a great episode of This Week in Madden. The example of what bad players do. Bad players lose on Hail Marys. Right here, Colby Fleener. So it's not even that guy who caught it. Look what happened. So Fleener and that guy go one-on-one, but who ends up catching it is Cooks, who's on the outside. And he ends up rack catching it. So it wasn't even an aggressive catch OP. It was more just like a tipped ball, and he caught it. I don't really know what else to say about it. Good game, and we'll have to keep fighting harder. What's up, boys? Yo, thanks for checking out that episode of This Week in Madden. I'm going to go throw up devastating loss on a Hail Mary. Great touchdown by fourth quarter Farls. And then I Gibbsed it. I S-Gribbsed the Hail Mary. I guess I could have got deeper with my user. You guys saw the replay. I'm here to answer for my loss. That was a tough one. That was definitely a tough one. But I'll be back next week. January 6th, I think, is the next Wednesday of the month. And we'll be locking in. The goal is to get RG back on some TWIM episodes in the new year. The MUTcast will probably return. And appreciate everything you guys do. This is kind of my 2016 New Year's speech to the community. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. I think that our Twitch chat, the actual chat box, where people can come and ask questions, get answers, talk about their lineups, talk about just regular football, talk about even just their lives, what they're up to, what they did, what they have for dinner. All that stuff, super important. It's super new. I know the Madden Tips community has been around for 7 years now, and there's a lot of people that have been here since we started, but there's also a lot of people that have joined new. And I think you guys totally get it, and I appreciate you guys hanging out, even if it's just a Sunday stream. Even when we didn't have gameplay on the Sunday stream, we just had a chat where people were just talking football. I was talking about my fantasy league, which I won, no big deal. But, this is really what it's all about, so I appreciate any follows. And, of course, to all our subscribers, keep an eye out. We got the Zan Sneak D came out earlier, and then we've got the pass protection video from M-Stack to go along with this Titan scheme coming up next. There'll be more in the new year. Have a happy new year. Have a safe new year. Have a happy holiday. Hopefully everything was good. Looking forward to getting back at it. But I really just appreciate everything, and glad I could share a devastating loss with you. I promise you that was real. When you don't script your Madden games, and we have never done that in 177 shows now, the magic will happen. Like, ridiculous stuff will happen. You don't have to fake it. Like, just ridiculous things will happen when you play Madden. And especially in Draft Champs, where the team's more even, and you don't have your playbooks. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So Arizona, I would rate as... I liked Arizona a little more at the start of the year. I think their lack of good gun doubles plays hurts them a bit. So, and then the gun split close. I didn't run the fullback inside enough, I would say. And you really do... I mean, the halfback wheel is good. It's not great. It was good at the start of the year. It's good against zone. It's good against when you have time. But there's things that can slow it down. So overall, that was a great TWIM. I really hope if you're a newer player, some of the critiques I had of my opponents, and then of course of myself, will help you realize, oh, bad players do that. I want to stop doing that. That's something I've done. So hopefully that was the goal of this Week in Madden show 177. Until next time, guys, remember, follow the YouTube, Twitch, all that jazz, and lock up. All right, ZFarls, stay hungry, lock up.